I remember in our chemistry read thinking he had brought such a lovable cynicism to this character that not a lot of people, I think, thought to bring.
Rachel Zegler thought the storm clouds over Disney's live-action Snow White had finally started to clear, right up until director Marc Webb hopped on a casual live stream and pulled off a plot twist wilder than any twisty-turny. Fairy tale forest.
I would like to be a team. You know, I want to be on Team Rachel, so I like...
And I am always Team Marc.
In a single breath, the man who once gushed that his remake would be a timeless update did a complete 180, admitting he regretted how certain promotional angles eclipsed the film's heart. Translation for anyone who doesn't speak Hollywoodese. Yeah, all those sound bites that set Twitter on fire, those weren't my idea.
I could just see every day how much care he brought to this character.
It was the kind of statement that makes a studio publicist choke on their latte and forces every Disney lawyer to sprint for their NDAs. And it instantly plunged Rachel into the kind of emotional freefall usually reserved for roller coasters and reality TV finales. Sources say she was live stream lurking in her living room, phone in hand, surrounded by two friends, a half-eaten pizza, and the naive hope that nothing else could go wrong. When Webb's regret comment hit her ears, she reportedly went as pale as a Disney princess right before a dramatic faint.
If you sing, "Do you want to build a snowman?" I will start to cry, so let's move on.
So does my dad. So does my dad.
Seconds later, a full-blown meltdown unfolded, complete with tear-smudged mascara, frantic pacing, and the type of panicked speech that makes autocorrect resign in defeat. One friend captured a short clip for memories, and naturally, that footage raced to social media faster than you can say hi-ho. Within minutes, hashtag Zegler breakdown was trending, complete with gifs of dwarfs holding yikes signs and the evil queen offering a not-so-fair apple.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's the proactive one.
Okay, but why? Why? This is the part I really liked about the Barbie movie when they said, why can't there just be an ordinary Barbie? I loved that. Because the point of Snow White's fairy tale, isn't that she's gonna try and become a leader. That was never in the original fairy tale, that's not part of Snow White's story. She's not supposed to be this girl boss, leader, queen, feminist icon. And I don't know why every reimagining, it has to be that the woman is in a position of power.
Because we are in a matriarchy, sir, that's why.
Snow White in the original fairy tale survived 3 different assassination attempts. She lives for free in the dwarf's house and just bakes whatever she wants. She makes her own food. She's pretty much free to do whatever she wants. And Snow White was manipulated into taking a bite of that apple. It wasn't because she wasn't proactive enough or because she wasn't, you know, this feminist, go-getting leader woman. She took a bite of that apple because she was manipulated to. There was a really powerful older woman who was manipulating her the whole time.
Disney's PR team, they were busy rewriting talking points for the 5th time that week, praying they could hush the noise long enough to squeeze out another weekend of ticket sales. If you're just tuning in, here's the TLDR. Disney sank roughly $270 million into a grand Snow White revamp. Think gold-plated castle sets, couture gowns sewn by angels, and CGI woodland creatures cute enough to melt the coldest heart. Rachel Zegler, fresh off a buzz-heavy breakout, landed the lead. She was supposed to woo old fans, enchant new ones, and secure a nice little ching for the Mouse House. But somewhere between lights, camera, action, and the premiere's crimson carpet, the entire production morphed into a cautionary tale for film schools everywhere.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Rachel's first misstep was calling the 1937 classic dated in an early interview. She then doubled down by labeling Prince Charming a literal stalker, which might be the first time anyone used Snow White and restraining order in the same sentence. While some fans appreciated the candor, an army of nostalgists clutched their pearls so hard they nearly turned them back into oysters. Still, Disney seemed content to let Rachel wave the progressive flag, until ticket presales suggested the only crowd storming theaters would be tumbleweeds and confused grandparents.
Everyone's talking about this video, but you know what pisses me off about it? Like, obviously it's annoying that they're changing the whole story, they didn't cast any dwarf. What makes me so annoyed is how smug they are about it. Like, I'm just so sick of celebrities and people with fame and money and power, like, they're just in a constant circle jerk with each other all the time. And we're just like forced to participate in it. I want fantasy. I don't want more you need to work and you need to be a leader, and like, I don't want to do any of those things. I want my Prince Charming. I want him to kiss me on the lips, and I want him to think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world.
Cue the corporate scramble. Executives held emergency meetings. That ran longer than Sleeping Beauty's nap. They enlisted a social media whisperer to help Rachel craft friendlier tweets, preferably ones that didn't compare beloved cartoon royalty to creepers lurking in castle corridors. Meanwhile, test audiences grumbled about missing dwarfs, a neutered romance, and an overall vibe that felt less Magic Kingdom and more PowerPoint about empowerment. Disney responded by funding reshoots so expensive they could have financed a small European nation's infrastructure. Yet the reworked footage still couldn't smooth over the growing sense that something had gone terribly awry. Then there was Andrew Burnap, cast as the film's new non-stalker male lead. Early on, he joked in an interview that Hollywood could still cut all his scenes. Fast forward to test screenings where, rumor has it, his role had been whittled down so much you'd miss it if you blinked during a sneeze.
So no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yep.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Who the hell are you to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut? Like, who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney?
Word spread that Andrew felt sidelined by the shifting narrative, especially after Rachel told Extra TV that his character's love story was really not what the movie is about. Hollywood, baby, indeed. Layer on top, a headline-grabbing political tweet. While promoting the film, Rachel signed off with a free Palestine, inadvertently turning the comment section of a Disney trailer into a geopolitical debate club.
What can be said about this level of narcissism? Here, please, enjoy.
At the same time, Gal Gadot, Rachel's co-star and on-screen evil queen, publicly expressed support for Israel, landing the duo on opposite sides of an already volatile conflict. Disney executives watched, slack-jawed, as their Sweet Family Flicks press tour morphed into a diplomatic minefield. They reportedly called Rachel nonstop. She, in turn, called her own lawyers. Somewhere, a middle manager tried to find the undo button for the entire internet. So how did Marc Webb's livestream bombshell make everything worse? Well, Disney had quietly shifted its talking points to, "We all share the same vision," hoping to project a united front. Webb's mea culpa shattered that illusion, hinting that the studio's marketing plan may have gone rogue. Suddenly, fans wondered, if the director wasn't behind the Prince stalker spiel, who was? Fingers immediately swung back toward Disney's PR strategy, and Rachel, who'd repeated those lines like they were gospel.
I don't know why in order to make a film more progressive, the woman can't have a focus on love or finding true love. They almost act like it's something to make fun of. When even in the original cartoon, she sings one song about finding her true love, the prince is in the movie for like a minute. Snow White wanted to find true love. That's fine, most of us do. She didn't really set out to be a leader. Not all of us do. Sometimes you just want to be in the middle of a forest baking pies. And some of us want to be saved by a prince. I know I do.
Even he gets it. We just want to be out in the forest baking pies. We want to watch a movie sometimes that shows a nice happy ending, and it's okay.
The emotional fallout was swift. In the leaked clip, Rachel's voice cracks as she says, "They told me to lean in," followed by an expletive that would make a sailor blush. She rattles off bullet points from an alleged internal memo, encouraging her to emphasize the film's feminist revision. Her manager attempts to shush her, a second friend offers tissues, a third quietly wonders if the pizza's still edible. Meanwhile, Twitter decides this meltdown is the greatest show since the halftime extravaganza, splicing Rachel's tearful stills with captions like, "Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who'll get sued the hardest of them all?" Behind the scenes, Disney's legal squad is reportedly rifling through contracts, searching for any clause that says, "Thou shalt not dunk on Disney classics in public." Word is there's a brand respect section buried somewhere in the fine print. But Rachel's team claims they have receipts, emails, Zoom call transcripts, maybe even a few enchanted scrolls, proving Disney instructed her to modernize her messaging. In lawyer speak, that's called covering your glass-slippered backside.
It's bigger than I could have imagined. I'm just super delighted and to celebrate with my lovely cast and crew.
At the same time, Marc Webb's unexpected reversal has industry insiders buzzing about his motives. Was he blindsided by the PR fiasco and simply telling the truth? Was he preempting a studio scapegoat attempt by placing the blame squarely on marketing? Or did he just get tired of seeing his passion project roasted like a Thanksgiving turkey and decide to throw shade of his own? Whatever the reason, his comments ripped the Band-Aid off a wound Disney was hoping to hide under glitter and catchy songs. Gal Gadot, meanwhile, remains the calm eye of the storm. Insiders say she's quietly focusing on future projects and politely declining questions about Rachel's meltdown. She did, however, skip the European premiere in Spain, prompting rumors of scheduling conflicts, tension, or perhaps an unspoken agreement to avoid more side-by-side photos with her embattled co-star. The internet's verdict? She's the evil queen who chose to watch the kingdom burn from a safe, off-camera distance. And then there are the numbers. Those pesky box office stats Disney hoped would at least turn lukewarm.
Theaters are, of course, entirely empty. Do you understand that having people buy tickets is an important part of success in your industry? Rachel Zegler, I guess, didn't get the memo.
After a historically dismal opening, the film's second weekend free fell by 66%, dethroning 2019's Dumbo as the biggest live-action Disney plunge. Industry analysts now predict Snow White could lose upwards of $150 million after marketing and reshoot costs. To soften the blow, the studio quietly scaled back merchandise shipments. Collectors are already dreaming of snagging clearance bin. Snow White dolls that might one day sit on a shelf labeled Most Infamous Disney Misfire.
What is this process now where it's like in order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines, completely destroy franchises? I don't believe in that. I don't think that consumers believe in that either.
With the film's downward spiral all but guaranteed, shareholders are demanding answers. They want to know how a property with 8 decades of goodwill could stumble so spectacularly. Some blame a fractured marketing message, others blame an overzealous attempt to please modern sensibilities at the expense of nostalgia. A vocal minority blames Rachel for going rogue, while another group sees her as a scapegoat for bigger corporate missteps. Either way, Bob Iger's in-tray now contains more headaches than a dwarf mine after a cave-in. So what's next for Rachel? After the breakdown clip went viral, she reportedly deleted several scheduled posts, switched her phone to airplane mode, and consulted a crisis PR firm known for rescuing reputations from digital dumpster fires. Friends say she's considering a heartfelt apology tour, perhaps starting with a teary late-night talk show appearance where she praises the original film and maybe even sings "Someday My Prince Will Come" to prove she still loves romance. Others claim she might sue Disney for wrongful brand damage, citing that alleged memo telling her to lean into outdated jokes.
Let's say that you were in a Hollywood movie, and the trailer for that movie dropped on YouTube, and it instantly became the #1 most downvoted trailer in the history of the platform. That might be a humbling experience.
Either way, she's at a crossroads: double down on her convictions and risk being frozen out of family-friendly franchises, or swallow a spoonful of humble pie bigger than the castle and attempt a rebrand. Industry watchers predict Disney may pivot to a direct-to-streaming strategy, release a director's cut that reinserts dwarfs, pumps up the romance, and slaps a classic edition label on the poster. They might even quietly recast Snow White in a spin-off series, banking on fans' short memories and the healing power of nostalgia. Of course, that still leaves the little issue of explaining why the 2025 theatrical release sits in IMDb's basement next to movies about killer tomatoes. But for now, the drama refuses to fade. A leaked email suggests Disney's consumer products division is mulling whether to rename unsold plush toys Enchanted Maiden Dolls, an attempt to unload stock without invoking the now toxic title.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick of it. So the more you do this, Disney, Iger, Rachel Zegler, whatever her name is, yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids, the parents pay for the tickets. You have to be a dummy as a marketer to be saying, if I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what? Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're gonna bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing up.
Meanwhile, YouTubers churn out hour-long breakdowns, analyzing every facial twitch in Rachel's live stream meltdown. Fan artists draw alternate posters where the dwarfs hold up "We tried to warn you" signs. Even late-night hosts can't resist cracking jokes about a Snow White so controversial. It needs 7 lawyers instead of 7 dwarfs. And what about Marc Webb? He's rumored to be working on a heartfelt indie film about forgiveness. No princesses, no poisoned apples, just a quiet story set in a cabin where no one can live stream. When asked if he'd ever tackle another Disney remake, he reportedly laughed and said, "I think I'll stick to small-budget dramas for a while." Translation: once you've survived a fairy tale firestorm, You crave the calm of real-world stakes. The whole saga is already a legendary cautionary tale in Hollywood circles. One studio exec was overheard telling a colleague, "Next time we touch a classic, let's maybe not insult half the audience first." Another quipped, "At least, cats had catchy songs. We just have catchy lawsuits." If nothing else, Disney's Snow White fiasco proves that mixing nostalgia with social media snark is like tossing dynamite into a wishing well. You're bound to get splashed. Will Rachel Zegler bounce back? History shows audiences have short memories when talent meets the right project. If she lands a role that highlights her voice and charm without dragging a beloved legacy through the mud, she could reemerge as a fan favorite. And Disney? They'll be fine. They're an empire built on mouse ears and churros, but you can bet the next time they greenlight a remake, they'll double-check every talking point and maybe hire a focus group that includes at least one cranky traditionalist. In the meantime, the story keeps evolving. Some insiders whisper that Disney's legal team is quietly drafting a mutual non-disparagement settlement. Others say Rachel's team is amassing evidence for a scorched earth countersuit. Either scenario could unleash a courtroom showdown that makes Depp versus Heard look like a tea party. If depositions start flying, brace yourself for leaked emails, behind-the-scenes footage, and more spilled tea than Mrs. Potts can handle. No matter where you stand, Team Rachel, Team Disney, or Team I just missed the dwarfs, one thing is certain. The Snow White saga is a masterclass in how quickly a fairy tale can turn into a PR pumpkin. It's a reminder that nostalgia is powerful, social media is ruthless, and big budget remakes are a tightrope walk over a pit of internet trolls. So, dear viewer, it's your turn. Did Marc Webb's about-face betray Rachel? Or was he bravely owning up to a marketing misfire? Should Disney shelve remakes for a decade and focus on new stories? Is Rachel the misunderstood heroine or the architect of her own downfall? Let's hash it out below. Drop your spiciest takes in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this roller coaster of royal drama, smash that like button like it's an enchanted mirror you're tired of consulting. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the next plot twist. Finally, stick around. There's another video on your screen right now diving into a scandal so fresh, it still has that new controversy smell. Click it, and let's keep this drama train barreling down the tracks together.